Hey tubers, happy day. Doug back at you here. Sorry for the delay since the last vid, but fought a pretty good cold for a couple of weeks, and as I noted in a previous video, I had lost some of my income, and well, I got a job that I worked a little bit, but it had some really raunchy hours, kept me going, no time to do anything. But now I got another job filling in, so it's looking pretty good. Looks like I'll be able to get back to the program and start making stuff happen. So I figured I'd finally get out here and get another vid out to you. Wanted to touch back onto the solar panel subject from a couple of vids ago. I've done some investigation and come up with some startling numbers. If you're out looking at solar panels, there's thousands of different solar panels on the market, probably at least 3,000 by hundreds of manufacturers. So if you're going to research the subject, you're going to be almost overwhelmed by the number of different places to look. I decided I was going to personally break it down onto stuff that's kind of easy to get here in the US rather than through foreign suppliers and foreign companies. Come across to Go Power, which is a Canadian company, and their products are probably made in China, but they've got a lot of product out on the market, a lot of different panels and controllers and other solar items. Worth checking out. They're definitely on the expensive side. And another company I came across is Renergy, a US company. Again, product probably made overseas, but at least the profits will stay here in the US, and they've got a pretty good product range. And another company that they're more on the controllers end is Midnite Solar. They make some MPPT controllers, which by the way is what I would recommend to anybody looking into solar power, is go with the MPPT controllers. They're a little more expensive, but they give you more control, more function. I think in the long run you're going to be happier with them. And again, Midnite Solar makes a vast range of controllers and other solar interconnect hardware. I'll have a link down below to show you where to go to find them and where to find Renergy. The thing about Renergy is they have flexible panels and they have rigid panels. And if you watched my previous vid, you know I'm a big fan of the flex panels because you can mount them right to the not flat roof of your van to reduce windage and help you improve your fuel mileage. So their prices are outstandingly cheap compared to Go Power for similar flex panels. Not quite as powerful, you know, they're only 100 watt, but the question is, what are you really going to need in your van? You know, how are you going to use your van? What are you trying to replace with solar on any given evening, shall we say, of sleeping in your van? You know, lights, maybe a stereo, TV, maybe charge a few devices, laptop or a pad or your phones or whatnot. So you may not need, you know, 300 watt panels up there on your roof. Personally, when I get to that point of my build, I'm going to put 3 or 4 of these 100 watt Renergy flex panels up on the roof, and I'm pretty sure that will take care of all the needs that I am looking to get out of a solar panel. If I need any other electricity, I got a portable gen set. I will just fire that up and it will give me what I need You know, not necessarily in a stealth mode, but in other modes, I'll have the electricity that I will ultimately need. The one thing to consider, again, while I'm into this flex panel ideology here, you got to realize what you're going to do with the van if you ever decide to get rid of it. Okay, if you've got these flex panels glued down to your roof, chances are you're not going to get them off. So when you trade that van in, you're going to lose them. Now, if you got Go Power flex panels, you're going to cry when you lose them because you've spent a whole lot of money on them. Renogy, not so much. You know, I could let go of the 5 panels up there, or 3 or 4 panels, because I'm only talking $300 or $400 versus, you know, 600 or so from Go Power per panel. So, something to think about. You know, obviously if you've got rigid panels, you can take them off, but that's going to leave potential roof problems. To get back again about that, another thing I learned that I didn't know until I started getting into this is the efficiency of solar panels. They're really not very efficient. I mean, if you can find one that's 25% efficient, you've found a really good panel. But you are going to pay dearly for those kind of panels. I think you'd be looking at Kyocera's or Pioneers, I think. They're really expensive. Excuse me. But any rigid panel or flex panel is made up of multiple solar crystals. Excuse me, a little remnant from that cold I had. So this thing's mounted up on your roof, and you're not talking a lot of efficiency. Like I said, 25% would be a really good one. Most of them are going to be between 12 and 18%. So you want to try and get the most you can out of these panels. Now again, there's multiple crystals in every panel, and they're all strung together to give you a full panel. But what I learned is, let's just take one individual little crystal, and you might have, I don't know, a dozen, 2 dozen of these or more on a panel. Just take one little crystal. If you cover up, or if a leaf lands on that crystal while it's up on your roof and shades 1/4 of that one crystal, you are going to reduce the power output of that whole panel by 1/4. That's how critical it is having your panels in sunlight with no shade. So again, as you're going to think about mounting these on your roof, think about whatever else is going to be on your roof. And again, if you put a roof rack up there and you put these on the roof rack, is any part of that roof rack going to put a shadow on even the corner of a panel? Because you're going to lose efficiency. So, you know, think about that. If you got a roof vent and it's open and it's shading part of a panel, you know, all these little things to look at. Another thing I found out about is what's called VOC, or volts open circuit. Interesting thing. These panels will put out even if they're not in good sunlight. Like right before dawn, when you've got that glow in the sky, these panels are going to be putting out. They're not going to be putting out enough to do anything useful, but the voltage is going to come up. Especially when they're cold. The colder it is, the quicker that voltage is going to come up. So if you've got panels on your roof and you're pushing your controller's voltage, like if you got a 30 amp controller out there and you're pushing 30 amps, say under your average operating conditions, you cool those panels down right before night and you're probably going to have voltage way over 30. Which could damage your charge controller. So there's a correction factor that you can add to any temperature. Now, I'm down here in South Florida, and about our lowest temperature is going to be about 32 F. And the correction factor for that is 1.1. So if you add up all of your VOCs, your volt open circuit, and you multiply it by the correction factor, that's how much it could ultimately put out. And if you're over 30, you could damage your charge controller. Now, again, the bigger the charge controller, the better. And if you've got a lot of panels, and maybe some of you are going to put these up around your house, or you're starting to think about it on your house if you've got one, or a bug out location where you're just going to put up a whole rack of panels where you can go there and plug your vehicle in or whatnot, you got to think about that. And a better charge controller, and again, I'm going to say Midnite Solar is the one to go, because they got some pretty good sized charge, the MPP T charge controllers, and they've got what they call Hyper VOC, which allows extra voltage to flow through that charge controller without destroying it. So again, I urge you to go check out Midnite Solar and their charge controllers. Again, I'll have some links, and I'll have links to Renogy. A couple of really good places to go. And again, Go Power. Like I said, Go Power is good, but boy, I'll tell you what, you are going to pay dearly for the stuff they sell. And again, Renogy, at least the money stays here in the States. So I'm going to kind of push that. One other thing I'm going to touch on real quick is wind power. It's not kind of the thing you're going to get into if you're, out van living or stealth RVing, but it might fit into some of your needs somewhere. There's a company, Missouri Wind and Solar, who has some proprietary designs on their wind generators. A lot of these wind generators are General Motors alternator cases with reworked innards, basically, so that they become wind generators. Well, Missouri Wind and Solar has gone out and designed and builds their own cases, similar to a GM case, but they've been in business long enough that they've seen the drawback to the General Motors alternator case, and they've gone out and designed and are building their own cases for these now. They sell solar panels and charge controllers and the whole 10 yards. So they're a very complete company. Just the way Midnite Solar is a very complete company in what they sell. Renogy is a pretty complete company. They have a vast array of products, and so does Go Power. One other item that Go Power makes that I really like, I want to get one, and when I get one, I'm going to do a review on it. It's the cable feed through that you would need on your roof to get the connection from the panels into your van. They've actually gone out and designed something to do this, rather than, okay, how do I get the power cables through the roof? Drill a hole, caulk it up. I mean, there's some marine products out there that are kind of made to do that kind of thing, but they're not really the perfect solution. I think this thing from Go Power is the perfect solution. And again, I've got a link to that particular piece down below. So that's basically about it right now, folks. Again, sorry for the delay. We're going to try and get this out, and we'll hopefully be doing this a lot more often. So thanks for watching. If you can, subscribe and like. See ya. Oh, by the way, P.S. Before I let you go, in case you're wondering what you're looking at, you're looking kind of southwest across the Caloosahatchee River from North Fort Myers over to the Cape Coral Bridge. That's Cape Coral over kind of dead ahead and to the right. And over to the left is the city of Fort Myers, which I'll kind of pan around there. That over there is Fort Myers. Like I said, you saw the Midpoint Bridge is way out there There we go, the Midpoint Bridge. And over to Cape Coral on that far side. Not the greatest of days here in South Florida, but hey, what the hey? It's Sunday, March 8th. Yeah, it's cloudy, but it ain't snowing. And it's about 78 degrees, so have fun, all you snowbees. Alright, catch you later. See ya.